Okay, time for the SMX medical update. We bring on the good Dr. Joe McGinley from the McGinley Clinic. And unfortunately, we have injury news to talk about before the season has even begun with Jet Lawrence. Look, it's a broken foot, broken ankle, whichever way you want to look at it. But you're a doctor and you can tell us why this particular injury is maybe a little more complicated than it sounds. And also give us the proper vocabulary terms, because I think we've been using the wrong names for the wrong injuries for about 4 decades in this sport.
Yeah, so this is an unfortunate injury. This is an uncommon injury in motorsports and motocross in general. So it's the navicular bone in the foot. This is analogous to the scaphoid in the wrist. So wrist has the scaphoid, the foot has the navicular bone. However, functionally, it's very similar. When those bones break or they have an injury, they have limited blood supply and limited blood flow. So in this case, we heard a story from Johnny O'Mara with the team. Jet had to have surgery right away to get this fixed. They couldn't go back to California to their regular doctors. That's because of that blood flow issue. You want to make sure that that bone's aligned and it begins healing right away. If you disrupt the blood flow, you get what's called avascular necrosis. That's essentially deterioration of that bone. And then that can become a major issue long term. So it sounds like they got all this taken care of quickly. They had the surgery, they had that bone repaired. So now that that's been done, what we're looking at is the timeline of bone healing. Now, if any of us break our navicular or break our scaphoid in the wrist, they're going to say you have 12 weeks to allow that to heal till you're back to activity. But for elite athletes in sports and all the opportunities that they have available for accelerating healing, all the things we talked about last year, there's ways to accelerate the healing of that bone and get Jet back out there a little bit sooner, a little bit earlier. But this is a significant injury. It is uncommon, but it's significant. Think of it as the same thing in the wrist that has eliminated a lot of riders from their career in racing. But this one happened down in the foot.
I think we maybe have to blame RJ for the navicular terminology, because I know as a kid, everybody was talking about Rick Johnson, the wrist injury that was basically a career ender, and the navicular, I think, it seemed like a career-ending sentence at the time, and that's where all the dread has come from, I think, ever since then. So go all the way back to the early 90s with that talk. I do want to talk about timelines with Jet, though, and that's what everybody's wondering about. Is it going to be Monster Energy Supercross? Is it going to be the opening round of Pro Motocross? I heard RV even wondering about making the opener of Pro Motocross. And to go a step further with that, when he's able to start riding, is it going to be an injury where there's lingering pain and it's going to take a lot of time to work through, like scar tissue and things like a joint? Or is it going to be, hey, you're healed, go at it, and he's going to be able to quickly get up to speed?
Yeah, JT, those are all great questions. So beginning with the injury itself, we're talking about the navicular because that's what he had surgery on, but almost surely there's ligament injuries of the ankle as part of that. It was touched on in one of the interviews. There's additional injuries besides that navicular. So there's going to be ligament healing, there's going to be bone healing. A lot of this is going to be strategic based on what Jet, his doctors, and what Team Honda want to do as far as points. I don't really see a reason that he's not going to line up for the Nationals. I think, from my opinion, with all the resources that he has available to him, that he should be lining up for the Nationals. Now, that depends on how that bone heals. So they jumped on it right away. They got the surgery done. Assuming this heals normally and there's no other complications, round one of the Nationals is highly likely to see Jet back. Now, the question comes, do they want points? They want points for the SMX playoffs. Are they going to try to push it to get Jet back out there earlier to Supercross? I see that as less likely, but still feasible, especially if they accelerate the healing of the bone. So I would count on round one of the motocross. I would say if he gets back for Supercross, that's a bonus and it's pushing it a little bit. But again, they have resources that are not available to everyone out there as far as accelerating the healing and strengthening up from these injuries.
All right, thanks, Dr. Joe. And it'll be good to see you at the races again in 2026.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, guys.